Hi, welcome back, Miss Candy's Land. Um, I'm putting a video out today. I'm going to try to put one out every day as I get through the storyline and give you guys tips. I wanted to, make people understand that the reason that I'm telling my story is not because I need, any sympathy or anything like that. That's truly not it. I'm telling it because I'm trying to show how you alchemize and how you transmute. So it's easier for you to understand that in a real situation, in real situations that someone has been through. Also, it's kind of liberating, to tell my story this way. Now, I'll talk to lots of different people throughout my life about it, and I got no bones about it. I'm not triggered about it, but I am passionate about it. I'm passionate about how we treat each other on this planet, and I feel like I have a good place to speak from. So that's the main reason is like, yes, I alchemized and transmuted it, right? And I'm doing that right now, right? Like in real time, all the time. And I'm not going to talk a whole lot about my backstory here. I'm actually going to talk more about some solutions, right? I do want to say, so the easiest way for me to explain this kind of alchemization that happens is to touch on something I didn't talk about yesterday, and that was the violence that was within my my childhood. Most of my caregivers physically fought, in front of me, and it was like crazy. Like they didn't just, fight with their hands. They would get, axes and shotguns and, chase each other and throw rocks at each other and grab TV antennas, back in the day when they had the rabbit ears, and just started beating each other with rabbit ears. And it would be over something silly like you drank my last Coke, and the next thing you know, there's blood, that kind of stuff. And, when children are, see that type of thing or exposed to that, it's really hard for you to just say, okay, this isn't right. Or, to not be in just total fear, right? And not know what to do next. And I did spend a big portion of my younger childhood in fear, afraid of the dark, afraid of everything and everyone. Like the wind would blow too hard and I would be in a corner in fear, right? I was bold, but I was afraid, right? And that's because no one around me could handle their emotions. Like literally they are fighting over what TV show they're going to watch and to the death, right? Like, or to the blood till someone gives up, right? It was pretty crazy. But at a certain point, I had started telling other caregivers, and they had been there, they had witnessed it, and then, but really during the times that these people are fighting each other physically, going and saying, I'm scared, I don't know what to do, and they would really just look at me and say, this is how you live, you should be used to this, right? And I was only like, I don't know, 8 years old or something. So once I realized like there's nowhere, like this is your situation, so you have got to figure this out, right? And I was lucky where I did have positive voices. I had spirit guides, I had angels, around me and helping me to get through this. And that's kind of where I learned, I guess, at a very young age to alchemize and then transmute. Because you can alchemize within, you can turn negative into positive within, but you have to send it out. And the reason that is the golden rule, karma, whatever you want to call it. I'm very open about religion. I myself do not take part in organized religion. I spent a big portion of my teenage life reading every religious text I could find, trying to figure out what this was in me, and at some point I was shown a butter churner, okay, like in my mind, like this butter churner and this black coming into it, right? And then it's spinning, and then it was like sugar, coming out, glitter, and than it going off into the sky or being directed at someone. So I learned that really young. And so when I was in those situations, like any situation, if I asked a family member for help, even as I got an adult, they would really just say to me, we know you're strong and you can handle it. So no, we're not going to help you. Right. Because at some point I really young, didn't need anybody, like everybody's doing whatever they're doing. And I put up this persona that I didn't need any help. Right. So not every family member is to blame for that. And when I speak of caregivers, I am speaking of people who were in care of me, not every family member, right? But that particular visualization of that churner, just all the darkness coming in, or all the black, or the muck, as I like to call it, coming at me and then going into this pot and then stirring it internally and then opening up and saying, okay, and automatically knowing that I need to send it to the person who's being the cruelest to me in the moment, right? Or at that time in my life, knowing that their healing not only would help me, but this is how we change the world, right? This is how healing, people, again, seeing their errors, accepting it, feeling the hurt that they're putting out, and changing it within and sending it back out. So the first way that you can start that, the churner is a good metaphor and visualization practice for anyone, especially if you have a lot of things going on in your life that feel like they're hard to deal with. Imagining you're taking even that specific thing and spinning it, right? There's a song. So I love K-Straw. So, and he has a song, and sometimes I'll channel it, especially when I'm just really down in the dumps. I'll channel his song, or some of his songs, but this particular one, and it's called Everything's Sweet, right? And in that he says, I can make sugar out of bullshit, right? And like, that's basically what I'm saying. That's what we're doing. If we have to do it, we all collectively have to continue to do this. It is the most contagious and most important thing that all of us can do. And it doesn't cost anything. It doesn't even take away from your day. You can be mindlessly doing your work and imagining all of that, all the black, anything, something you saw on the news. It doesn't matter what it is. Alchemizing it and transmuting it back out to something beautiful is energy work, and everyone's capable of it. What people fail to see is the energy work that they're doing is actually what's wrong, right? Because you're taking in the muck, but you're throwing it back out. There's no turning it into something beautiful and then sending that out. We live in a very narcissistic environment. There are, a lot of things like that. There are a lot of people like that. And I don't blame them. I think that they just kept churning muck, and it gets out and it gets on you. And now you're stuck, and now you're in a cycle. You're in a karmic cycle. You're in a golden rule cycle. What's going out is what's coming back always. So if you're getting up every morning and you're thinking, this person wronged me, so I'm going to spend my day figuring out how I'm going to get them back, right? Or how am I going to sabotage? Or you get up and you're like, why them? Why do they have more than me? How come they can be intuitive? How come this? I don't like this. And speaking bad on people's names, all these bad feelings that you're having, because you are living in a life or a lack mindset, right? You're not in lack, but your mind keeps telling you it's never enough, right? That's a signal from your higher self or from your source, whether you call that God or the divine or the Most High or Jesus, whatever it is you call it, it's real and it's there. And it's giving you what you put out, because there is nothing else, right? You are what you create. And so if you are always focused on, I don't have enough, I need to get more, you're not going to get more. You're always going to feel like you don't have enough. Even if more is at your door, it won't be enough, right? If you think you're not good enough, it doesn't matter how many years you go to college. It doesn't matter how many books you read. You're never going to be smart enough by your own standards. And you think that's coming from somewhere else. It isn't. It's coming from the other part of you that is connected to everything else. This world is alive. There is something called a grid, that you are attached to all the time. And some people will call it the Akashi record and stuff. And I've seen a lot of stuff where they say the Akashi record's waking up and all that. It's always been alive to my knowledge. Every time Spirit shows me the grid, it has always been alive. Like Tesla said, it's energy, vibration, and frequency. That we are all part of it. Like we're just kind of waving in it. So, if you think you're a trendsetter, like you start wearing your pants a certain way, but you really, you're not trying to put it out there. You just are. And then next thing you know, there's a commercial, right? That's how this works. We are all online. We are all online with each other. So if you're constantly having bad thoughts about someone, it will reach them. It will. And that, there is things like, demonic things and witchcrafts and all that, but that's separate. Us just regular human beings sit around and create our grid to be what it is all around us. And that affects our aura and our chakras and everything. So my first step is to say, sit with gratitude. Take a minute of your day. Sit down. Think about something that makes you laugh out loud. All right. And not negative. So we can't laugh out loud about someone's downfall. That's not gratitude. That's not gratitude at all. That's spite. Okay. What we're looking for is, like, for me, my youngest had the deepest belly laugh when he was little. Like, I still hear it in my ears today. It was just, what I think about it is walking up and, hey, I'm Cameron. Like he was just so happy and he just laughed all the time. And so I will listen to the echoes of that laughter, close my eyes, take in a deep breath, counting to 5, hold, counting to 5, release, counting to 5. And the whole time I'm hearing this laughter, okay? And I do that in intervals of 3. Your heart has brain matter, okay? You need to align these things together. Because once your heart is aligned with your mind, those intrusive thoughts are easy to kick out. They're easy to spot because you are in line with yourself, and now you can be better in line on the grid, and you will radiate a higher vibration, a higher frequency, and you will just feel lighter and better. So I try to do that like 3 times a day, really just intervals of 3. You can do it as long as you want, as much as you want. The more you do it, the better it's going to be, especially if you're thinking of all these things. Well, I'm grateful about this and I'm grateful about that. Like, so when I first started doing it, that's kind of where I'd be like, I'd do the laughter and then I would think about something else and I'd be like, oh, I love this and I love that. And I would just do it. And what I found was I became like a balloon, like I had to transmute, and I didn't know that part. I didn't know. I just kept keeping the feelings for myself, right? And then I'm all happy, but everything around me is like not, So then that's when I realized I had to actually visualize where I want this to go, right? Where do I want all this love and light, or this high frequency vibration, whatever you want to call what you have now transmuted from yucky, muck, negativity into positivity. Now you need to direct it. Now you need to tell it where to go. Okay. And you have to let it go so it can come back. And so that's one thing too, I want to point out is, like, I lived a life of people who just wanted control. And I tend to find myself in those situations with people all the time. Not only am I a magnet for it, I almost kind of seek it out, because I'm like, somebody who has a lot of, control issues or anxiety. I know it's just intuition run amok. I know that it's repairable. But not everybody wants to, they can't let go of the control to receive what can come back to them, right? But that's the most important part. alchemize what's coming in, release it. And you get to choose where it goes. Sometimes I just say, give it to the world and everyone. And I can imagine it just running through households, windows, and just scraping people I've never seen up and just giving them a big hug and wrapping around. And, you know, I'm not visualizing any major changes or anything. I'm visualizing just sending out good love, you know. And then, like I said, sometimes I direct it to people that I know are speaking bad on my name, or, you know, I'm in this love-hate relationship because I'm on a battlefield, you know, a lot of time when I'm out here, and I can come in and things that upset you don't upset me, or I'm able to do things that maybe you're not able to do, even on just a small level with your animal. Never listen to you, but I walk in and in 5 minutes, 6 tricks are done, you know. And that's overwhelming to people. And they can also get very, you know, upset, like they feel insulted, you know. And that's not what my purpose is. My purpose is to come in and show you it's possible. It's possible. That what you think isn't, or, you know, what you think you can't escape is a lie. You just need to try, right? You just need to try. But that's hard when you feel like you have tried already over and over and over and over. So this exercise, and I mean, I got to that point, you know, at different times in my life, you know, because healing is, you heal this and then you need to heal that and then you need to heal that, you know, and it's steps. So when you start this, you will start healing things within, and you'll get a different perspective. You know, there's people who wake up and look at people as dollar signs, right? We know that. Whether they're in your community or they're a conglomerate, right? We're all just worth something. We're all just worth what I can get out of you, right? And if you have that type of thought process, you might get something for a minute, but you will pay triple for taking it that way. So it's so much easier to just sit with self, find your gratitude, breathe, and send it out. Send out love and light so that it returns to you. And that's this video. And remember, everything's not your fault. You are loved, and I love you too.